installing. Yes, I've stopped till installing Zustand. So in last session, I have just a minute. So as I said, we have. So yeah, we have our application running, and then we have done the filter by category and those functionality. So as he said, now we are going to implement state management. State management is mainly used for add to basket functionality, because if you add or remove items, and if you increase the quantity, or if you add two items, if you are else if you simply increase the quantity, so everything will be tracked. So we need a global state to manage the card functionality. So what I'm going to do, now we are going to implement system for state management. Okay. For that, the first step I have done is install the Zustand. Okay, so I have searched Zustand here, and okay, this one. Zustand. So we have the GitHub link. I went to the GitHub link, and when I go below, so using this npm install Zustand, I have installed it. So, okay. The next step is, it is written in the documentation itself. We have to create a store. Okay, your store is a hook, so you have to create a store. Is nothing but considered like a warehouse. So a warehouse for storing all the information, and we know the warehouse catalog knows, maybe the warehouse registry book knows how many quantity and what is there, what are the products there, everything. So it is like the inventory management. So it's like a store for storing our state of the applications. Okay, so how many t-shirts are there, what kind of t-shirts, its descriptions, everything, storing the details of the products. So how to create it? Let me to create a global store. You have to go to the e-commerce application. You have to create a folder called store, and inside the store create a file called store.ts. Okay, so this file will now we will create a store to.
Kitna, yesterday you have created one file store.ts inside the store app store. So that one
Yes, I
With
have mistakenly created that before. So yeah, so just remove it. So
delete.
I
Okay.
think in the last session itself, I have just deleted it. Might be you might have missed it. So last session itself, I told to delete it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
It is in the root folder, the store, then inside it, store.ts.
Yes, yeah.
Or in the app folder.
No, it's in the root. You can see app, sanity,
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So first, um, so as I said, I have already taken the code. Like I have already implemented the code. So I will just explain. So each and every steps. So yeah. So for your understanding, first I have just this one. Expert interface. It is obvious that creating like a blueprint. So where does the product comes from? The product comes from the sanity type product. So let's fix this. So we have to import the product from, because we already have the product in the sanity schema. We have to just fetch the details. That's it. And we'll be storing the quantity. How many products will be there? So this is the first thing. So the first thing is we have created a interface. Interface for basket item. As I said, it's like a blueprint. That is how our structure should be there. Should look like. It should have the product and then the quantity. And then the next part we have, what we have to do is we have to create a interface for the basket state. So the next thing what I'm going to do is I have created the interface for the basket state. So what does the basket state hold? It holds the items. It tracks the number of items, and it tracks the add item, remove item, clear basket, get total price, get item count, and get grouped items. So it tracks all these. So it stores the information of the items, the basket items, and it helps us to track the, when you add an item, it should be like +1 or +2. When you remove an item, if you click on clear basket, it stores the state of that, and to get the total price, it stores the state of that, and to get the item, it's total item count. So the based on the product, so if I have 5 t-shirts, so get that item and get grouped item. I will explain this each and everything one by one. So this is the basic structure we have created. Okay.
Um, Kitna, little confused. Uh,
Yeah.
Everything is inside source folder. So the store TS you have created inside source or mm,
So I will just explain the structure. I have the e-commerce application. Okay.
okay.
Inside this, I have the main root folder. So I have next, I have app. So you have a separate source folder in your
Yeah, everything inside source.
so okay, inside source you have app, live, sanity, store, everything, right?
Yes,
So, okay. So, create your store folder inside your app,
inside
inside
app
your source. Sorry, inside your source.
source. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So we have created the structure here. So we have created the interface for basket item, and we have created the we are going to store the state of the baskets. So we have created the interface for the stage, that is what are all we are going to track, we have stored in it. Okay. So, and then the next thing what we are going to do is we have to create the actual functionality. So what it should do when you add an item, what it should do when you remove an item, so what it should show, it what it should do when you click on clear basket, everything, all the functionalities we are going to define here. So for that, if you go to the documentation, so first create a store, it says. Then bind your component. That's it. It says the only the two steps. So but still we are in the step of creating a store. We have created the interface. So you come to the bottom, you have something called persistent. So there should be something called persist middleware. So we are going to apply persist middleware only. So we are going to set up the functionality based on the persist middleware only. So what is persist middleware? So I will just explain this. So we have created the interface. So interface is like a blueprint, that is like you have drawn the plan for the store. So for example, consider like you have drawn the plan for your house, that is interface. So next you need to actually build the house. The plan is created using interface. Next we have to actually build the house. To build the house, you will be creating the to build the exact content, you will be using create. So to build the functionality, we will be using something called create. Okay, which is from the stand. Okay, but this is the uh, commonly used. So to build the functionality, we will be using create, something called create. So which is commonly used, but here we are going to use something called persist middleware. As we discussed here, we are going to use something called persist middleware. Instead of create, we are going to use persist middleware, which is also one of the feature of Zustand. So persist middleware is nothing but normally Zustand store is just in a memory. So if you refresh the page, all the data is lost. Like what is in if you add something in a basket, when you refresh the page, it will get removed. It will just reset it. So, but the persist middleware means saving the data into some storage. For example, local storage or session storage, so that it survives page reload, that is on browser restarts or page restarts, the state is stored, so it automatically saves the state to the storage and rehydrates it when the app loads. So Justin is for storing the state even when page reloads. Is it clear why we are using persist middleware in Justed instead of create?
Yes, Kirti.
Yeah. So as I said, so I don't want to confuse you more. So just remember, create is even in persist also you will be using create, but along with the create you will be using persist. So this is the usage of persist middleware. Is it clear? So as I said, if you use only create, if you use only create, the state is not stored. State is not stored. So it will be all datas will be lost on page reload. Okay. So if we use persist middleware, that is create and persist. So create, inside the create, you will be using persist. So in that case, datas will be stored in local or session storage. So it um date datas is still, what is it? Forgot. So datas, okay, yeah, and rehydrates it. Rehydrates in the sense stores, like it retains. So that is the proper word for what we'll be using in React and Next.js. It's like retaining. Rehydrates the data when app reloads. Is it clear
Yes. Yes.
why we are using persist middleware?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, as I said, we'll be using persist middleware. So let's go here. Go to our code. So we have const. So use basket store. Okay. And then, as I said, we'll be using create, and the create data type should be of basket state. Okay. And inside this, I'm going to have persist. So inside the persist, persist will have full length. It should not have angular. Inside the persist, we have something called set get. So what you can see here. So inside the persist, set get, and if you follow this syntax, you will just understand. So set comma get, and then since I've already implemented, I'm just simply just writing it. So you will get used to it when you work with it. So comma, it should have name for the person should be So let me just import create. So you have to import create. So import so you have to import create and persist. Let me just import domains. Okay, why it is not? So let me just, it's like import create from system. It's working. Import create from Zustand the same way import um, persistent or something like this from, why it is not showing, I'm not sure, but you can just import it. Implement, okay. So if I see here, yes, this is the basic syntax. So create and then persist. So set and get. So inside this, we have to write our actual, so it is saying like type is missing the following property. Basket, what are all inside the basket states? That is the item, add item, remove item, what are all we have here. The functionality, the exact function definition, you have to write it here. Okay. So let's start off. So items going to be empty for now because it's an empty array because initially it will be empty. And then we are going to have add items. So this is normal JavaScript functionality. So the same thing we have to use. So items, add items is like set state, initially product ID, if the item exists. So it's like usually what you do in normal JavaScript function. So if you sit and if you go through the code, you will just understand. I'm just simply mapping through the items. If some item is added, I'm just simply mapping through it. So if it is not added, else, so only if exist, that is if items exist, this will run, else it will not run this if statement. The same works for the remove items. So remove items, what is the product I want to remove, and I will just remove it from the product basket. So I will just explain this. So clear basket, so set items. The items is set back to empty. This is clear basket, and then get total price. So like adding the total price with the quantity. So, and what else? Get item count and get group item. And then we are for now storing it in the local storage. Do this. And then let me just add. One more error. See. Okay, it should have an expert as well. Yeah, it was missing expert. So as it is said, so expert, we have done the create, we have done the persist, set and get. So this syntax we followed it from here. And yes, if initially you set the value to something, like for example, if you see here in the example, fish is 0, okay, initially. So add fish, set fish from, so you have to fetch the fish from here plus 1. So this is like add fish. And finally, name of the items in the storage. So after this persist, so you have to give the name and the storage where it has to be stored, either local storage or session storage. So but in our case, we are storing it in the local storage. So we have given it as basket store. So the rest of the items, add item, initially the item is empty. If it is added, how to add an item? We have to set the state, and if the constant exist is equal to, so just checking whether the item is exist, then we can add. If it is out of stock, you cannot add. So those kind of functionality which is being implemented here. Same with the remove items, clear basket, just set the items back to empty, get the total price, get item count, and get grouped items. So these are all nothing but the functionality which you can understand very easily. So if you go through, else if you just copy and then go to Copilot. Yeah, you can just ask Copilot just to explain if you don't understand, because if I start explaining each and every looping, then it will go into like JavaScript session. So I think you can just understand if you just see the code. Just we are just following the normal add and remove cart item what you have implemented in React or anything. So the same thing I have done here. So you can just go through this after the session. So if you have any doubt, you can just come back and ask me. So I have just explained the basic syntax and everything, how to implement the create and persist. And then I have just copy pasted the entire functionality. So what are all we have given in the interface, all those should be present here. So then only the store will be running without any error. So what are all you mentioned here, it has to be here. Is it clear?
Yeah, Kitna, can you share this code? I have
Yeah,
missed.
I will just share the code. Yeah. So after this, so what we have done, object for items Add item, remove item, and then what else we do have? Clear basket.
It is also the part of Zustand.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. So Zustand is this. We have just imported that we have just installed it, and I have just told you how to use this create and why do we need persist everything. But all these comes under the JavaScript functionality.
Okay, you mean it's I think it's all about CRUD through Zustand.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
CRUD, but mainly I would say it's like a Redux. Have you worked with Redux? State
No,
management.
no, not yet.
So
Redux is
you'll
still
be having
pending in
store
React.
action. Okay, but it's good to know this one.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
you have a comment. So if you add an item, so it will be stored here. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you want to access anywhere in your application, what is in your cart, you can just import this store. You can just access it. You don't need what you say props. We will be passing props, right?
Yeah.
To get the data from one
Hmm.
component to other. Instead
Okay.
of props, we are storing it in one global file, store.ts. So if you want to access or use it anywhere in your application, just import this store.ts and just access this. That's it.
Okay.
So add items, get total price and get item count. And then we have get group items. So all these we have implemented, and finally you have the name for your persist middleware, and then storage, like where you are going to store. Either you can mention it as uh, session storage or store local storage, but we will use session storage, but for now we will do local storage. The next step we will do it as a session storage. Did you understand? So why we first we have implement installed Zustand and we have created the interface, and why we are using create, persist, and how to add inside the persist using set get and giving a name to it, and also mentioning the storage and everything. So is it clear?
Yes, Kate.
Yeah. So don't worry about the logic and everything, that you can just get it, but you have to know how to create a persist middleware. If someone asks you, you have to say, I will just install it. I will just import create from Zustand using persist, and persist will be used to get track of the states, and create JSON storage is used to mention whether it is a local storage or we are storing our state in a local storage or session storage. If you explain this, this is more than enough.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, coming to the next part. So we are going to implement the add to cart function. So we have created a state here, that is store here, common store here, which keeps tracks of the items, what are all the items and the quantity. So how to get this store working? So we have created the store, we have given everything, but how to get this store working? Let's go to the page.tsx. inside this store, like page.tsx, the main page. So this is our application. So when I click on this, I should see something called plus and minus icon to add to basket functionality and increase or decrease the this thing, the functionality. So increase or decrease the quantity. So how to implement it? Let's go here. So we have the products view. So if I go to the where it is, so inside the store, let's have product. We'll have product inside the product page. So let's have an add to basket button. So if I go here, let me just create an add to basket button. So where can I create here? So this div, let me have, it's going to have a sorry, class name, class name, margin top of 6. Okay. And then inside this, I'm going to write add to basket. I'm going to have a button. I'm going to have a button and I'm going to say add to basket. So let's go here. If I push it, we should see the button here. Okay, here. But we need to look into the margin top, maybe 4. Let me just see it to 4. Mhm. Just remove the class name. Let's see how it is. Okay. Didn't have this much. Let me just see. Okay, let's fix this tomorrow. Yeah, I will just fix this tomorrow. So yes, so I have created add to basket functionality. So happens if I minimize it? What is appearing? Good. Okay, let's fix this later. So this is just so let's create an proper add to basket button. Add to add to basket button. So and it should take the products as the and it should be disabled when it is out of stock. So it is out of stock. Okay. So this functionality we have to implement add to basket button. Let's what I'm going to do. Let's go to the component. The next thing what I'm going to do is create a add to basket basket button. And okay, so let's go to the UI. Okay, let's create simply here. So let's copy this inside the components. I'm going to create add to basket.tsx. Okay, so yes, this is going to have some the same, like nothing much different or nothing. Yeah, I'll just explain. Hydration, select only, yes, it should have a written. Plus button, minus button. But your task is to just figure it out what is each and every functionality. So this one like vanity dot what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this. For this, I'm going to import it separately. Go from sanity types and then use basket store. I'm going to import it from the store. We just import this art to basket in the um, we have done this. It shouldn't have. Sorry, it's not disabled. It's disabled. Let me just store here. first run this and then let me explain this part. Inside error react has detected network basket. Okay. Uh-huh. This use client. Okay. Everything's clear. Let's just client is set client. Use state false. Use effect. Okay. Let me just remove it. Let's see. Okay, let me just create it from the start. Okay, it's going to have add to basket functionality. So we are going to have an interface. So it's going to have a product and disabled as an input. So which we will be getting, and we are add to basket props. So we're getting it from add to basket props, and this add to basket props is the interface which we are going to um, declare here. So add to basket, so this product we are going to import it from sanity types. Oh, it is clear. So coming to the next step, so I'm going to say it as use client because this runs on the client side. Okay, and then so we are going to pull our basket store and get the item count. So const, let's do this part. So iteration save, this is fine. So add item, I'm going to pull it from here. So this, I'm going to import it from the store. This should be clear. So add item is pulled. So maybe use basket store. So let it be empty initially. So add item and then comma, everything will have the same. So remove item and then get item count. Going to have get item count. And then finally, we'll be having similar, that is the item count separately. Oh, now, so we have to create a use, where it is. So I'm going to set up this. Okay, I'm going to create, check whether it is client. Let me import the use. And initially it is set to so I'm going to use effect. Okay, to set is client is true. So it is basically to make sure the component what I can say renders only on the client side, not on the server side, because items client only, because the user we are only giving like what to add and what to not add. So it should purely run only in the client side. Because of that only I'm using use client, and to prevent hydration errors, I'm using um, use effect to prevent the client server mismatch. Have you previously worked with client server mismatch? Have you tried to solve any of these issues? Have you faced while working with React?
Client, I didn't understand. What do you mean, client server?
Client server mismatch, the hydration error. Have you gone through and something called hydration error?
No, Keith, no.
Okay. So, so if you work with API and servers, you would have gone through it. So hydration error is a very common error. So React has server side rendering and static side generation. So so for example, I'll just explain that, because without knowing it, you won't be understanding why we are using that line. So in that to so here in this handling hydration. Hydration error is nothing but how can I say? Can I take an example? Okay, okay. So, how does React and HTML works? So first, so let me just say in next JS server, the server sends the HTML first. Okay, the HTML file. So if we want to navigate to any application, the server sends the HTML file that is called the server side rendering SSR. So then what um, it does is then React is the client side application. Okay. Next.js is the server side application. So React hydrates the HTML. So it takes the HTML, it adds JavaScript to it, which we defined in the React uh, to make the page interactive. So yes. Okay. So how can I explain? I'm just thinking of a real-time example too. Because if you worked with any application, if you face the hydration error, you would have automatically got into it.
Yeah, Kirtana, we understood. React is the main client-side rendering, what users see on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we use client when we do such custom hooks or React hooks. We add the hooks, and we also use client. So does that mean you? Is it the same?
Yes, it's almost same. So yes, yeah. The server side rendering, that is Next.js does server side rendering. It sends the HTML from the server to the browser before the JavaScript run. React, as I said, attaches the JavaScript to make the page interact.
Okay.
Okay, so React does the behind the scenes. Okay, so it will attach the JavaScript functionality to it. So for example, when does a hydration error appears? So for example, displaying, for example, displaying the current time. First, as I said, first the server renders and then only the browser renders. So if the server renders at time, server renders first and then client renders. This is the process. Okay. So for
Okay.
example, so if for example, clock, take displaying the time. Okay. So first, the server renders at 10:01. So the maybe the 01 is the second. But the client renders next. Okay, so it takes 1 more second to render. So the next 02. So the React sees a mismatch. So the client, what does a client shows doesn't match with the time of the server. So there comes an hydration error. So if you read about it, I think you can understand more. So there comes a hydration error. So to avoid this hydration error, we usually use effect. So to fix this, we use effect. So that the time is generated only in the browser. So the server doesn't need to render it. Only the browser does it. So is it clear, or did you get something?
Yes.
Yeah.
We, mm,
So just try to read about it so that you will get a more clear explanation.
okay.
So to avoid this hydration error, I have used this use of it. If you read about the hydration error, you will understand this line. Why did I use client and this one? So coming to the actual functionality. So these are all common functionality inside the written. So div. So let me open and close the braces. And I have added this div to it. Let me just save it. I'm not sure whether it will work or not. That is inputting computer techniques. Okay, let's see why this is happening. This should work. I'm not sure how to resolve this. Add item, remove items. Okay, this is from the product, and I have just given basket store. Okay, still it is showing some error. So, I misspelled. I use client. Yes, I think with this. I think the client I have given capital C, so that is because of this only. So if you see this, everything other than that is very simple. So I have created a division. We have a button. The button is for the remove items. So the button has this. So this minus symbol, this is for the remove items. So inside this, I have done all this class name, item count, so everything. So if you, yeah, again, if you see this code, it will be very easy for you just to understand. So how to implement the minus button, and inside this I have given the count. I have displayed the count, and then the plus button, that is adding the items to it. Still loading because of this slow use effect. I think let me just fix this, and yeah, it will take time. I think it is already 3:30. So yeah, let's continue tomorrow. So I will just share these codes. So what are all the codes I should share? Only the store.ts, right?
Mm, no, this one also, the
Add
add
to
to
basket
basket and
and store.ts.
store.ts, and in page .ts6 of store, can you open that one? Yeah. Yes.
Page TSX of store. Yeah.
Okay. So here you have added
I didn't
basket.
add in the store.
No, no, you
The
have
basket I have added in the product. Inside the
yeah,
product,
yeah, yeah.
add to yeah.
Here add to basket button we have added. Okay, but here for me, this one is showing error. Product. We have to import this product, the property we have given.
Yeah, product from the product should be imported from uh, just a minute. But it is already why it is showing error for you. But I could see here the product. Oh,
Okay, I think
it
the
is because of this prop. I
code.
have passed this prop here.
Yeah, yeah. I think I haven't created these
Yeah.
things. That's why. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I will try to fix this and share
Mhm.
the code. Yeah.
But other than that, in page.tsx, we haven't did anything, right? Only added the.
Yes, yeah, just only the add
Okay.
to, yeah, add to,
Okay.
yeah, basket button.
Okay, Kitna, so only two codes, store.ts and add to basket button.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And can you open Miro Code like for just a
Just,
second? Yeah. Can you make the box bigger? The text is cutting. Yeah. The last one. Yeah.
yeah, I will share the our
This
Miro
one
board
also. Okay.
discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kitna. Yep. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye, guys. We'll meet tomorrow. Yeah, we will meet tomorrow, and we will just complete this add to basket functionality. Yeah, that's it.